Welcome back to Aeon Timeless History. If you're fascinated by ancient civilizations, forgotten worlds, and archaeological mysteries that challenge everything we think we know about the past, you're in the right place. Before we begin, make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications so you never miss our next journey into history's greatest enigmas. What if one of the greatest forgotten chapters of human history wasn't hidden in Egypt, Mesopotamia, or South America, but right here in North America? Across forests, deserts, rivers, and coastlines lie enormous earthworks, mysterious carvings, giant geoglyphs, and submerged archaeological sites that continue to puzzle researchers. Some of these places are thousands of years old. Some demonstrate astonishing engineering. Others preserve traditions that have survived for countless generations. Together, they reveal a story that is far more fascinating than most people realize. Today, we're exploring some of North America's most remarkable ancient mysteries. We'll separate established archaeological evidence from speculation while asking one important question. Just how advanced were the people who lived on this continent long before European contact? And what lessons are their achievements still waiting to teach us? Before we continue, tell us in the comments, which ancient archaeological site would you most like to visit, and why? We read every comment, and your thoughts often inspire future documentaries. Our journey begins in the rolling landscape of Ohio, where one of the world's greatest engineering achievements quietly stretches across the countryside. At first glance, the Newark Earthworks may simply appear to be grassy hills and gentle embankments. But from above, an extraordinary geometric masterpiece emerges. Built roughly 2,000 years ago by the Hopewell culture, the Newark Earthworks cover several square miles with circles, octagons, parallel walls, and precisely designed enclosures. Every curve and angle appears intentional. Modern surveying has revealed just how remarkably accurate these constructions truly are. The obvious question is how such precision was possible. The Hopewell had no steel machinery, no modern measuring equipment, and no written mathematical textbooks. Yet generation after generation, they created monumental landscapes whose geometry continues to impress engineers today. Archaeologists believe these earthworks were built using carefully placed wooden stakes, stretched cords, repeated measurements, and remarkable planning. While those methods may sound simple, executing them across such enormous distances required organization, patience, and extraordinary knowledge passed from one generation to another. Perhaps the most astonishing feature is the famous octagon earthwork. Researchers have demonstrated that its primary alignment corresponds closely with the northernmost moonrise during the lunar standstill, an event that occurs only once every 18.6 years. Observing such a cycle requires decades of careful attention to the night sky. Imagine families recording the movement of the moon over generations, grandparents sharing observations with parents, parents teaching children, and entire communities preserving astronomical knowledge through memory rather than books. Suddenly, these earthworks become more than monuments. They become giant calendars, connecting people with the rhythms of the heavens. Some visitors describe experiencing a profound sense of peace while walking among these ancient structures. Archaeology cannot measure spiritual experience, but it can acknowledge that sacred places often leave lasting emotional impressions. Whether through ceremony, tradition, or the simple awareness of standing where countless generations once gathered, these landscapes still possess remarkable power. Ironically, one of the greatest mysteries surrounding Newark has little to do with astronomy. Early European settlers refused to believe indigenous peoples could have constructed such sophisticated monuments. Instead, many invented theories involving lost civilizations, wandering Europeans, or mysterious outsiders. Modern archaeology has thoroughly rejected those ideas. Evidence overwhelmingly supports the Hopewell people as the builders. Rather than diminishing the mystery, this realization makes the achievement even more impressive. The true story is not about imaginary civilizations. It is about recognizing the remarkable accomplishments of Native American societies that were underestimated for centuries. Now let's travel thousands of miles southwest into the Colorado Desert, where another mystery stretches silently across the landscape. The Blythe Intaglios are enormous figures carved directly into the desert floor. Unlike paintings or sculptures, These giant geoglyphs were created by removing the dark surface layer of soil, revealing lighter earth beneath. From ground level, they can be surprisingly difficult to recognize. Only from above do their full shapes become visible. Among them stands an enormous human figure with outstretched arms. Nearby appear animal forms and geometric designs whose meanings remain uncertain. Who created them? Why were they built? And for whom? Most archaeologists associate the geoglyphs with the ancestors of today's Mojave and Quechan peoples. Radiocarbon dating suggests many were created roughly 1,000 years ago. One possibility is that these figures represented important spiritual beings connected to indigenous traditions. Another suggests they mark ceremonial gathering places or sacred pathways. Some researchers believe they reflected stories passed down through oral history. Although imaginative theories often invoke ancient astronauts or visitors from the sky, no archaeological evidence supports those claims. Sometimes the most intriguing answer is simply that ancient people expressed their beliefs through monumental art on a scale rarely attempted elsewhere. Perhaps these vast images were never intended for ordinary daily viewing. Instead, they may have been offerings to spiritual forces, symbolic representations of creation stories, or markers visible from nearby hills overlooking the desert. What makes the Blythe Intaglios truly fascinating is not what we know, but what we still don't know. Let us know your own theory in the comments. If you had to choose, do you think these giant figures were religious symbols, ceremonial markers, astronomical guides, or something entirely different? Next, we arrive at one of the oldest monumental landscapes ever constructed in North America, Poverty Point in northeastern Louisiana. Nearly 35 centuries ago, hunter-gatherer communities created an enormous complex of concentric ridges, massive mounds, and carefully planned earthworks that continue to astonish archaeologists today. For decades, many researchers believed only a highly centralized political system could organize such an ambitious construction project. According to that interpretation, powerful leaders directed thousands of workers through strict authority. More recent research has opened another fascinating possibility. Instead of representing an ancient kingdom ruled by elites, Poverty Point may have functioned as a massive gathering place where independent communities voluntarily came together for ceremonies, trade, celebrations, and cooperation. Evidence from artifacts supports the idea of extensive long-distance exchange. Materials discovered at the site originated hundreds of miles away, including copper from the Great Lakes, stone from distant mountain regions, and other valuable resources transported across vast networks. These discoveries reveal something extraordinary. Thousands of years before written history reached North America, people maintained communication routes connecting enormous portions of the continent. Ideas traveled alongside materials. Technology traveled alongside stories. Knowledge traveled alongside friendship. Human civilization has always advanced through connection. Perhaps Poverty Point reminds us that cooperation can accomplish achievements every bit as remarkable as conquest. Now imagine the end of the last ice age. Sea levels begin rising. Coastlines slowly disappear beneath expanding oceans. Entire landscapes vanish forever. Off the coast of British Columbia, underwater archaeology has revealed evidence of ancient human activity now submerged hundreds of feet below modern sea level. One remarkable discovery includes an ancient fishing structure built when the surrounding landscape was dry land. Thousands of years later, changing oceans transformed that environment into part of the seafloor. These discoveries perfectly illustrate how dramatically Earth's geography has changed since the Ice Age. For indigenous communities such as the Haida, oral traditions describe great floods and rising waters. While mythology should never be treated as literal historical documentation without evidence, it is fascinating when ancient stories appear alongside geological discoveries, demonstrating that coastlines truly did disappear. Could memories of rising seas survive through generations of storytelling? Many researchers believe oral traditions can preserve surprisingly accurate information about real environmental events over immense periods of time. Whether every detail reflects history or symbolism, these traditions remind us that ancient knowledge deserves careful listening rather than quick dismissal. The archaeological discoveries beneath today's oceans also raise an exciting possibility. How many prehistoric sites remain hidden beneath coastal waters around the world? Every year, underwater technology uncovers new evidence that changes our understanding of humanity's distant past. Some of history's greatest discoveries may still be waiting beneath the waves. Our final destination takes us to Massachusetts, where one enormous stone has inspired centuries of debate. Known as Dighton Rock, this 40-ton boulder bears mysterious carvings whose meaning remains uncertain despite generations of study. Since the 17th century, scholars have proposed countless explanations. Some believe Native Americans carved the symbols, others suggested Vikings, still others argued for Portuguese explorers, Phoenician sailors, or numerous other visitors. The truth is that none of these competing theories has been conclusively demonstrated. Modern research favors the interpretation that at least many carvings originated with indigenous peoples, although questions remain regarding individual markings added over different periods. Dighton Rock teaches an important lesson about archaeology. Sometimes the greatest mystery is not finding answers, it is learning to accept uncertainty. History is rarely as simple as we wish. Evidence evolves, interpretations change, new discoveries constantly reshape our understanding of the past. That willingness to follow evidence wherever it leads is what makes archaeology one of humanity's most exciting sciences. When we step back and examine all of these places together, a remarkable picture begins to emerge. North America's ancient societies were not isolated groups lacking knowledge or ambition. They observed the skies with astonishing precision. They engineered monumental landscapes. They maintained extensive trade networks across enormous distances. They developed sophisticated spiritual traditions. They adapted to changing climates. And they preserved stories that still echo across generations today. Their achievements deserve recognition not because they resemble civilizations elsewhere, but because they represent unique accomplishments shaped by their own cultures, environments, and histories. The greatest mystery may not be whether these people possessed forgotten supernatural knowledge. The greatest mystery is why their accomplishments remained overlooked for so long. Fortunately, that is beginning to change. Every excavation, every new survey, every underwater discovery, and every collaboration with indigenous communities adds another piece to an extraordinary historical puzzle. Perhaps the next breakthrough is already waiting beneath a forest floor, hidden beneath desert sand, or resting quietly beneath the ocean. History is never truly finished. It is continuously rewritten by new evidence. And somewhere across North America, another forgotten story may already be waiting to be uncovered. If you enjoyed this journey into ancient mysteries, support the channel by leaving a like, subscribing, and sharing this documentary with someone who loves archaeology and ancient history. It truly helps us continue creating in-depth historical content. Now we'd love to hear from you. Which of today's mysteries fascinated you the most? Do you think future discoveries will completely change our understanding of ancient North America? Or are archaeologists already close to the truth? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Thank you for watching Aeon Timeless History. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and never stop searching for the stories history almost forgot. Before you leave, click on the next documentary now on your screen and continue exploring the world's greatest ancient mysteries with us.